In part 2 of the Desert Rats of Rock and Roll, we look at some of the shows performed by comedians, and many comedians who visited the Gulf region.
So many comedians which were brought over to the Gulf region by you guys. I'm thinking of a few of them, like Billy Connolly did a few memorable gigs, and very risque in Dubai, and almost got thrown out for various things he'd said. Barry Humphrey was great. I remember that one at the Hyatt and doing an interview with him on the radio, and Jasper Carrot's another one which comes to mind. And he's back on the road again, isn't he, Jasper Carrot?
Kev, Kevin sent me today or yesterday a picture of Jasper Carrot, the advertising program or flyer of Jasper at Abu Dhabi Hilton or something. Yeah. I sent it to his manager, who's still his manager, Steve Hutt. I sent it to him today, and he was like, "Oh, that's classic, 1990." Yeah. And I said, "Hats off to Jasper. He's still doing. He's 80, and." Yeah, he sent me a message, actually. Maybe I can just share it with you.
Back out on the road, yeah.
There was Lenny Henry as well.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Remember Lenny Henry?
Yeah. Oh, Lenny Henry. It was nice.
I'm going to come on to Lenny Henry in a moment. Yeah. So what's the message, Russ? Have you got it there?
Yeah, here you go. I sent him a message. I sent him the thing, and then I said, "Amazing, Jasper has been established. He had been an established star for more than 30 years. He'd already been an established star, and that was 35 years ago. And he's still going strong. Hats off to him." And Steve replied, his manager, he said, "Sold out 30 shows this year in venues ranging from 500 to 1,600, all pretty much within 48 hours and going on sale. Not bad for an 80-year-old. So he's still doing it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, Lenny Henry was a great one. Lenny Henry was very good, wasn't he?
He was a nightmare.
Was he?
Yeah, going through the airports, because he'd joke with all the and the customers.
Who was a nightmare, Kev?
Lenny Henry. He'd always
Lenny was funny, yeah.
And he'd do what Simon did. He'd say, "Oh, this guy is he's carrying something."
Oh no!
And you'd go, "Oh no, I'm going to get searched again."
Yeah, right.
No, that was a laugh, but he was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. He came into my radio program for a 10-minute slot, and he was so funny. We just carried on and
he's a nice guy as well.
Yeah, he did all his characters, and the news came and I said, "Can you stay for the episode?" I said, "Yeah," and he stayed for about an hour, and just him and a bit of music, his characters. It was brilliant, outstanding. Yeah.
I had a story where I did the tour with him and then I was back in the UK and I did a loadout for his wife's show, French and Saunders, in the End. And I'm standing there on the side waiting for the show to finish, and I get a tap on the shoulder, and it's Lenny Henry, and he says, "Kevin, what are you doing here?" And he remembered me from 6 to 8 months before. He just remembered me, and I had a good laugh,
Nice.
And
we work with some quite interesting people, I must say. One of the good bands that we worked with, which actually was cancelled, we only did one show, I think, in the end, which was Kool and the Gang. Were you there for that, Kev? That was in Dubai, and they got cancelled because one sheikh died, and then they had the mourning, so we had to cancel it. I think it was the most profitable, apart from Samantha Fox, because Simon got the insurance.
It was one of the most embarrassing moments through an airport as well.
Well, I'm going to tell you about that.
Yeah, one of the guys carried.
Okay. So in Muscat, the singer of Kool and the Gang. And we knew all the people. That was the thing. It was embarrassing for us because we knew all the people. But we sent out a circular. Before we did a tour, we always sent out a circular saying, "Don't do this, don't do that, don't do that." It was very clear, no pornography, nothing. Anyway, they open his bag and he's got the filthiest porn you've ever seen in your life. And I'm quite broad-minded, I like to think, but it really made me blush. And so they confiscated it from him. And maybe you don't know this, Kev, but I'm going to tell you a side story to that. About a month later, I was there at Muscat at 2:00 in the morning, waiting for somebody to come through because I had their visa. Do you remember it was a paper visa then? Yeah. And I'd flown from Dubai and I had a paper visa. I was waiting for them to come to go through immigration together with this visa. and the fire chief, who was a Scottish guy with a big beard. I don't know if you ever. He used to come. Whenever he had bands, he used to come. Big beard, and he like ZZ Top beard, you know. And he came. I said, "Oh, hi Ross, how you doing?" I said, "Oh, all right." He said, "I'll tell you what." He said, "A few weeks ago, the filthiest porn was passed around." He said, "All the staff." He said, "Wow." He said, "I don't know where they got that from," but he said, "Oh." And I said, "I know exactly where they got that from." So yeah, we had a few of those scary moments, didn't we, Kev?
Yeah.
But you know, usually we talked our way out of it because the people liked us and trusted us. Yeah. And to be fair, we never intentionally ourselves, you know, did anything out of order. A few bootleg Thompson tapes, eh, Graham?
Oh yeah,
just a few.
Remember those, Phil?
I do indeed. I had a massive collection. When you said Thompson, I thought it meant the band for a moment. Then, the brain kicked in. Those, what were they, about five dirhams or something, a pound a shot for all the top releases. Yeah, massive collection.
Usually released prior to the original release as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, they were. Yeah.
And better compilations.
Yeah, the lyrics were the best.
The greatest hits were much better than the.
No, because they'd write the lyrics on the inside of the.
That was the funniest.
It was nothing like the original lyrics. I think it was Filipino guys who were translating it. It made such a laugh.
Yeah, just right now to what they were hearing. Yeah,
and remember all the covers, like Madonna. She was cokied out, all her body parts.
Black. Yeah. Black censorship, black lines through it all,
censorship on them, yeah.
Do you remember? Do you guys remember how we used to have a pretty good system of getting these bands through airports, which you couldn't do again. You couldn't do it now. I remember I used to leave you guys with the band. I'd go ahead, and you'd have the band, and you'd send some of the crew with the luggage and me, and I'd get them checked in. I'd get all their boarding passes. We'd get all their luggage checked in. We'd get all the tags, and they just come along and go bang, 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 bang. There you go. Go to duty free. It was such a good system in the end, wasn't it? Yeah. Potentially a nightmare, but it was a good system. It worked.
I think the Russian one was a good one. Me and Kev used to sit and play cards.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You remember that? It used to take hours.
Buy everything.
Yeah.
Literally truckloads of electronics they used to take back to Russia, didn't they? The ballet dancers. But what about Lata Mangeshkar? Just before I arrived, you did Lata Mangeshkar, Graham, and she brought everything, including the kitchen sink.
Yeah,
she took back to India.
Yeah, it's amazing, wasn't it?
It's good old Lata and her sister Asha.
Asha Bosley was the other one, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Asha, and that was packed. I've never seen so many Indians in one place.
Anyway, like I said, Phil.
I was going to say, staying with the Indian theme there, you did a lot of Indian shows and also weddings, didn't you?
Yeah.
Get into the wedding thing?
And Arabic weddings.
Yeah. Where you weren't supposed to be even in the same room as what you're lighting.
Quite challenging, that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, we stripped a lot of lighting down to make it work. I don't know what they were called.
Ahmadiyya and Ragabalama, do you remember?
Well, I don't remember the names. I just remember the
they're big stars, isn't it?
Yeah, because I had Sharif rebuilding some of the lights so we could actually run the ACLs in parallel with series to light up all the columns and stuff. So we stripped the whole lighting rig down to actually make it work.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of weddings. I remember getting called to Ras Al Khaimah, which was really an outpost in those days. Phil, you remember it?
I lived there.
No, to the Sheikh. No, but you lived there when it was
exactly very different.
I went to this old palace, which was like a fort where the Sheikh lived, and I was doing a wedding for his daughter or something, and it was $35,000, and they had a really bad reputation of not paying you. So I said, but we really do need them. We need money up front. And so he sent this little Mulberry guy out, and he came back with all this money, all this cash in dollars, not dirham, dollars.
Yeah, dollars.
I was like, okay. I said a check would have done, And he started counting out all these dollars, and he got to about $33,000. And I said, "Oh, Sheikh, I don't want to offend you. That'll do. That's okay. You can sort out the rest later," because he'd obviously shown really good faith. He said, "No, no, 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 my friend." He sent the guy back out, and he came back with dirhams, the equivalent, and gave me the balance. I was like, I went with this big bag of cash. Yeah.
5,000 euros. You mentioned Amra Diab. I remember him on one of the powerboat races on the beach.
Oh, he's so popular.
And he was there with Bananarama, and I thought, God, they've pulled in a big crowd, 60,000 people for Bananarama. But no, they were there for Amra Diab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they loved him.
Huge pulling power. Yeah.
Talking about
good shows on the beach, yeah.
Talking about weddings, we did a wedding in Muscat. It was me and Murray. And turns out they bought the house next door and demolished it to make a car park ready for the wedding. And they redesigned the whole driveway with a fountain and everything ready for this wedding. But we weren't allowed to see. Murray had to mix it without actually being on site. And he couldn't be in front of speakers because he was a male and he wasn't allowed to be where the female section was until the males arrived. Yeah. When the males arrived, he could go out and listen to it. But before that, we weren't allowed to be there.
So
Graham, some of the weddings we did were incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, Graham, what sort of lighting rig you'd have in a function for an Arabic wedding? The mind boggles.
Well, we only had parkans, so you couldn't have anything other than that. But we actually flew them because we actually put points
very hot. They weren't LEDs, were they, Gray?
No, they're 1,000 watts each. So yeah, it's a kilowatt per lamp. You got to have two because there was 110. Yeah. Yeah. So it's 2 kilowatt of light in just 2 lamps. But yeah, we actually rigged it. It was actually flown. I got some photographs somewhere of it actually rigged in the ceiling of the Crystal Ballroom, because that's when we started doing a backstage truss on stage.
Yeah, back truss. Yeah,
and that was not on the lift, so it was actually flown. So flown in the Crystal Ballroom. The electrician was doing his nut. Yeah.
Another. Obviously, you mentioned Indian shows, Phil. Were you both? I think Kevin was, but I'm not sure about you, Graham. Were you on the big Amitabh Bachchan show that we did at Al Shakab Stadium in Sharjah?
Where they had the elephants. They were planning on the elephants, I think. And
this one was quite challenging because it was run by a guy called Kishore Trivedi, who was actually a tailor.
I remember him, yeah.
And he had never promoted a show, but he just happened to know someone who knew Amitabh Bachchan, and they had this massive show. They had for our Indian viewers, and we had Amitabh Bachchan, we had Anil Kapoor, we had Sridevi. They were massive stars. They still are. And Anupam Kher, the comedian, and Anil Kapoor. Amitabh Bachchan flew over the wall in a hot air balloon, if you remember, into the cheap seats, which was the guy never looked so terrified. But it was a lady pilot, and she was really good. But I thought it was a great idea. So the cheap seats, they couldn't get him, but they could see him really close. And then Anil Kapoor came in on a camel, and Sridevi came in on a white horse, and Anupam Kher, my mate Ian was doing the smoke machine. He was coming up through the stage, and it was just totally obscured by smoke. Ian didn't know how to switch the thing off. It was crazy. And if you remember, he wanted a screen, a projection screen each side of the stage, which was massive, of course, because it was a big stage. And the tailor said, "Oh no, I've got a friend who can provide the projection." So I said, "Okay." He said, "You're too expensive," and he'd run out of money by then. Anyway, they had this big screen like this with this little image in the middle, because he'd got some Kodak screen projector or something. It was hilarious. But anyway, that was quite
along that line, or those lines of balloons, camels, white horses. Any other bizarre requests for unusual lighting, sound, accessories, stage props?
Well, lighting side is always left to last anyway, so they leave it up to whatever you wanted to do, really and truly. So there's very, very little requests as such, because they didn't have any idea. But I don't know about sound.
Any challenging ones for you, Kevin? Like sort of speakers remotely placed and straightforward.
It's always pretty simple. I mean, you can't mess with what it's got to be, you know.
Yeah,
speaker to speaker.
Speaker, yeah.
Got to be either side, in the front. But no, I've worked on some.
Most bands were quite accommodating, weren't they? To be fair, because it really wasn't what they were used to. And I mean, I'm even looking at some of the pictures from those days. You know, there's no masking. We never get away with that now. I know that doesn't affect the sound of life, but the whole visual of it. I think they took it for what it was. They quite often used it as a pre-production to their big tour.
Yeah.
Try some new songs and a bit of a holiday, you know, bit of sun on their back.
The two engineers that came out, the one who sang with the Crusaders, Nightlife. That woman.
Oh, Randy Crawford.
Andy Crawford, her Norwegian sound engineer, made that PA sound like the CD.
I think that was the best sound I've ever heard. I actually always say they were the best band I've ever seen that has so sound like the record.
Mm-hmm. And then Chris Rea as well. His sound was incredible. I mean, it just also sounded like.
You know, to be fair to Martin Rigg, you know, the Martin Rigg had a very warm, very nice sound.
Beautiful rig.
Yeah, it was
just a bit heavy.
Yeah,
cumbersome.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I'm thinking about those conditions you sort of set up and rigged and everything else, and the shows you put on. There must have been some which stand out in terms of, you know, your proudest achievements. So, Graham, what would you say is perhaps your biggest and proudest achievement?
I don't know, all of them really, because we actually managed to pull it off on the wall.
It was a miracle.
Yeah.
I think the one that we really pulled off was Gypsy Kings on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Because we rigged.
Or the ballet.
Well, the ballet as well. But Gypsy Kings, we actually rigged the whole thing, had it all working. I went off to the shops and came back, and half of it wasn't. So we had to replan the whole thing an hour before it actually came off, because one of the dimmer packs had gone down. So we had to repatch all what was left to get it to work, to give it some sort of performance. And the LD was, well, it's one of those things. If it doesn't work, we can't use it. So we'll have to redesign it. So that's what we did. We redesigned the whole thing for that show an hour later, and he just went with it. I think that was the big thing. Everybody accepted the fact that it was, you got what you got, and if it didn't work, you couldn't use it. There's no going down the road to pick up another amp or another dimmer pack or anything else.
We used to tell them things like that, didn't we?
Yeah.
When they arrived, we said to the guys,
you've got to take it as it is.
This is what it is. It's going to be horrendous, but you know, we'll have fun.
And most of them used to go home saying, oh, it was really good. We really enjoyed it because we didn't have any emphasis on being this. It was just a relaxing time to get involved with the band and listen to the band, really, truly.
Right.
So, yeah. No, I think most of it was good. Ballet was, that was more hideous than anything because the actual lights were so strong, so big. I think it was Alain that we actually did a stage which was like 3 foot off the ceiling. So they danced directly underneath the lights.
They re-choreographed as well.
Yeah, it looked really good. It looked really stunning.
They were very hot.
Very, very hot. Yeah, there's something like about 80K of lights.
Wow.
And the power system used to be the best. When I first went out to the Middle East, you'd see all this 1.5 cable all twisted together and wound up, running out to the Abu Dhabi beach. And that was powering the actual lighting system. Because you imagine, what was it, 40, 80, it's about 120K of lights. So the amount of power we used to draw.
Pulling a lot, yeah.
And the electricians didn't understand that these big cables had to have the same going all the way back. So they'd run 50 meters or 100 meters of twin and earth
but then
cable twisted together.
Over years, Graham, you got friendly with all the electricians, and they
knew what we
started to
wanted.
work with us, didn't they? You did a good job. The thing is, what I'd say, Phil, is both Kevin and Graham and all the guys, actually, the guys that actually succeeded, they were very good diplomats and very good at getting alongside and accepting what they had in front of them. Meaning, you get an electrician who doesn't understand, at first is a bit hostile, but they were very good at turning it around and getting them on their side. Because if you don't get these guys on your side, you can't work, can you?
No,
but hats off to both of you. I work with both of you and others, which we'll mention in a minute, but because they deserve their mention.
Yeah. We spent a lot of time sort of in the Hyatt ballroom waiting for the truck to arrive at 3 in the morning, talking to the little guy that's polishing all the brass.
Yeah.
And we used to spend a lot of time with the electricians and stuff like that, just having cups of tea and chats and listening to their ideas of what they want to see or what they want to do or where they want to go. But it was part of them learning and us learning from that.
A key attitude, as Russell's saying, being sort of diplomatic and building up a relationship and rapport with the local supporters, support teams, and finding out their side, as you say, side of the story.
Well, we used to walk straight through the kitchens of Hyatt Regency, saying hi to everybody and picking up our sandwiches to take up to the rooms because they would let us do it.
Yeah.
And that's like 3 in the morning.
So I'm always curious with our guests to find out what they're doing these days. So, Simon, you, Kevin, what are you up to these days? How did your career evolve after being in the Gulf and the Desert Rats?
Cool. Yeah, it's a long story.
Another podcast.
Yeah, actually, Phil, I think we are going to invite Kev back on and possibly Graham later, because especially Kev, he did a lot of stuff after, which I think would be really good value, maybe in series 2.
So a little teaser, you'll be back, Kev, and you can spill the beans in our
I do
second series.
I do caring now.
Okay.
I look after an Alzheimer's guy.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. So that was saved for another one, as you say, Russ. That'd be great. Good. What about you, Graham, very briefly?
Well, majorly, I was an electrician, but I still run my own lighting company. So
I do. Okay,
yeah, but not doing as well as it could do. But it's in Cornwall, so there's very little to.
Well, sure,
What were you doing for this ice rink last week? Because I wouldn't do this podcast without you, Graham. I have to tell you, I waited for you because there was no point me doing it because you were there. For me, you were there from the beginning and you were there at the end. So
talking about ends.
Also, Kevin, but I definitely wanted you on this.
Talking about ends, I don't know if you can see this or not.
Oh yeah,
Arabic dove staining across the screen. Yeah.
Well, that was my leaving gift from my LA.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I don't remember because you were the one that got it. Because you said
was I?
Yeah, Simon wasn't sure whether that I was actually an employee. So should I actually have anything given to me for leaving as a leaving present?
Well, I got F all, so you did well, mate.
I got nothing as well.
Well, the stretch.
We're not bitter, are we, Kev?
Bad guys.
Maybe we can share it, Graham. We can have it for a year each or something. You know,
pass it around.
I can sail it to you, no problem.
In the Philippines.
Yeah. Well, why not? I'll bring it over.
You get some new speedos and get to the pool, mate.
Yeah.
My reward was great memories.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
We talk a lot about nostalgia on this podcast, and that's what it is really. I mean, when I retired 3 years ago, and I had a lot of people. I mean, Stan Urban, who you remember, Graham and Kevin, you worked. You know, he just said I've kept in touch with him all the time, and you know, these people were like nice acquaintances, but they weren't like you never had time.
Friends.
Yeah. But he said, I'm going to come and visit you. I said, welcome, come. And we spent two weeks, glorious weeks, sitting by the pool, just laughing our asses off at all the old stories. He said, you know, you really need to do a podcast. I said, well, I've been thinking about it, you know, because you do, you know, and we've if you look through some of the episodes we've had interesting people, but they've all been people I've worked with or known or whatever. And it's been really nice to link up again with them because even though it was hard, it's still there, isn't it? You still,
oh yeah. Well, that was all the fun part of it, wasn't it?
yeah. But I just mention my predecessors, like I said, were Phil Bowdry, who went on, and Colin, who went on to work with Shirley Bassey, Tom Jones, you know, real professionals in the business worldwide, really. Obviously, you knew Colin in the first place. And then Mark Aitken, who has promised to send me some pictures. He's a professional photographer now.
Yeah.
Great lad. And Paul Garner, who is the son of one of Simon's friends from British Airways. Julian, I can't remember Julian's last name. Kevin and I were trying to think of Julian's.
I can't remember either.
Obviously Murray. I mean, Murray, long-suffering Murray. He really suffered for his art in the sound. I always felt bad for Murray because he really wanted, you know, it to be good, but it's so hard to do a good job with that sound rig sometimes.
Yeah.
So it was good. And Mike the Chippy, is he still with us?
Yeah. Yeah, he's still there. Yeah.
Well, send him my regards, Mike the Chippy.
Yeah.
And Robbo was another one.
Yeah, he's tour managing now, isn't he? He's living in Spain.
Is he?
In Spain, yeah. And he's out with various bands.
And Paul Johnson, of course.
Yeah, Paul sort of retired a bit more. He's backed off from the sound side of it. I think he's looking after his mum.
And lastly, right at the end, the most racist roadie in the world, Dave Flockton. What a character. But I mean, we used to blush occasionally, some of the things he used to say. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not proud.
Meatloaf was the one, wasn't it? The one that
he used to call him, he nicknamed him Buff.
Yeah.
Big ugly fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, the funny thing about, he used to brag about being the best heavy metal sound engineer in London. But if you remember, Dave used to walk sideways like this because he was deaf in one ear. How can he be a sound engineer and be deaf in one ear? But anyway, there you go. There's another character for you.
Who's the other one that was short-sighted? There was a short-sighted guy as well, wasn't it? He used to mix sound.
Oh God!
And he could hardly see the stage. So he
really?
didn't know when they was coming on. They always speak when they come on. So he said, I just mix from that. I forget what it's called.
I don't remember.
Yeah. And this John Harper, who basically I took over from.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I forget what the show was.
Never Mental Breakdown.
Yeah, it could have been Demis Roussos was my first show, but I don't know whether he got involved with that one.
It was another John.
Yeah, John Harper. Well, basically, he said that he gave me a month. He said, you'll only be here a month. He said, because you won't stick it. He said, that'll be it. So 10 years later, he came back with, I think it was Shirley Bassey or somebody. I was one of the big stars. He came back. He said, Christ, you still here? So I said, yeah. Well, that was like nearly 10 years ago. I said,
they won't let me go.
I've never been able to get away.
Yeah, there was
that was quite amazing. He did my first one and he did my last one. So that was amazing.
Brian Miller was quite serious with me one day because he got the impression that I was partying a bit, and you know, he knew things like, and he sat me down. He said, look, I'm going to tell you this seriously. He said, go easy on the part. I wasn't partying, nothing, you know, just a bit of a beer after the show maybe, but nothing. I never was really like that too much.
You never.
No, but he sat me down quite seriously. He said, look, he said, I have to tell you this. He said, one of your predecessors, I had to send back in a coffin. I had to tell the parents and the family. He said, because he, you know, and you know, it makes sense because the golf was so hard in those days, the weather, and if you got to drinking a bit and that, you know, it really wouldn't have been good, you know.
There was an underlying thing there, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Talking about drinking, Phil, I know this has gone on a bit, but it's really important. Saudi Aramco, Kev and I were really having a good laugh the other night.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the Siddiqui, and I was telling Kev, and Kev told me some funny stories. We took Paul Young to Saudi Aramco. I mean, it's just amazing, and he was a big star, you know. And I remember he got invited to this Indian family's house after the show, and the Indian grandmother wouldn't let him in until he sang something, you know. So he had to sing something on the doorstep, and she let him in. But I got cornered in a kitchen with some bludgeon-faced oil rigger from Aberdeen, and he was like, "Try this, Siddiqui. It's fantastic. That's best Scotch whiskey." I was like, "No, that's rocket fuel." Said, "Oh, try this. This is Drambuie. It's fantastic." I said, "No, it's rocket fuel." He said, "Well, try this. This is whatever it was." I said, "No, it's rocket fuel. It's all the same." He said, exactly. "I've been drinking this for 20 years and it hasn't affected me." And I said to him, "Look in the mirror." He'd blown up his garage 3 times. I mean, you know, they used to make their own alcohol. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
We had to get out of the country quickly on Paul Young, if you remember.
You had to what?
We had to get out of the country quickly on Paul Young. We didn't do the last show. We had to rush to the airport. Yeah. Why? Because they had objected to the girls singing, the backing vocalists.
The Incredible Fabulous Tarts.
Yeah. And so they were doing this whole investigation, and then we got word from the guy who was driving us around and that through his boss that they were going to come and arrest us. So we hightailed it to the airport and got on a plane to Bahrain. We literally like 2 hours.
In a runner.
Yeah.
A narrow escape. Any other narrow escapes before we wrap it up? Because I mean, that's a good tale. That one is. Yeah, Paul Young and his.
Yeah, I mean, he'll remember that one.
Final, Russell, you were saying you're giving names. You're saying hi to various names from that time. What about the crew, the Patan crew? You wanted to give them a shout out?
Yeah. I mean, I you remember when we were doing the Bolshoi ballet on the beach in the hill, you know, it was so hot, it was so brutal, and we all used to go for a communal swim. Do you remember? And all the Patan crew, they used to wear all their Patan outfit and swim. And I just found this incredibly funny because, you know, all the girls, Russian ballerinas, were in their bikinis, and Graham was in his Speedos, and Kev was wearing his strange outfit, and I was wearing probably something as equally strange. But I was swimming along, just like trying to cool down, and all of a sudden there was a tap on my shoulder. You know, I was swimming, and I turned around, and it was one of Sharif's crew, one of these Pakistani Patan guys, who went, "Hello, my boss." I nearly drowned. I just found it incredibly funny. "Hello, my boss." I was like, "Hello."
Well, I'll say
to be there, you know.
Everybody was boss.
Yeah. Hello, my boss, Russell. Time to wrap it up with big thank you to the pioneers, we might say, of shows in the Gulf region. And you think about the guys in the region now, what they've got in terms of, well,
they've got everything.
Promoters, they've got everything. They've got a massive choice of bands, crews to put these shows on, and the technical standards. Well, I mean, leaps and leaps and leaps, isn't it, from the 80s and early 90s? So
I don't think they got the fun.
I think, guys, looking back, you should be really proud of what you did. I saw firsthand how you blood sweated and teared over this equipment that needed constant loving and nurturing and patching up and, you know, plastering together. And I really thank you for the work you did with me, and I think you really deserve your place in rock and roll history. So I've called you the Desert Rats who brought rock and roll to the Gulf. And anyone who's watching this who are now doing it, just think back. These guys did it a long time before you, and well done. It's really good to catch up with you again as well.
It's good to see you.
For the opportunity.
Yeah. It's been great.
And from me, a fascinating behind the scenes look at what it was like in those days. I remember things from a different perspective, and it's always been great to be involved with the shows across the Middle East, the Desert Rats. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's only rock and roll.
A Phil Blizzard radio production.
Available on Apple, Amazon, Angami, Spotify, Deezer, Google, and all good podcast channels, and also now on YouTube. And if you would like to have a podcast production for your organisation, do get in touch with me. Drop me an email, philblizzardmedia@gmail.com.
A Phil Blizzard radio production.